So we did a couple little routines, quizzes, and a quiz for the principal, like a survey thing at the beginning of the hour. Kids that missed those, you can do those from home, no problem. And this is a word problem, and it's scary. But it's really not that scary once you get the idea. All right, you got a couple high schools and they're renting vans and buses. When they keep saying vans and buses over and over again, you start to get the idea that it might be about X is vans and Y is buses. Please write that down. That's the first thing you've got to do is decide what's X and what's Y. Because on your test, I'm going to want it to be X and Y. Unless they tell you, like, you should use V for vans and B for buses. If they say that, cool. But otherwise, you got to decide what's X and what's Y. Okay. Now, can you do this? I can do it. I don't know if you can do it. I think you can. They filled one van and 6 buses with 372 students. One van plus 6. Oh, I used a V for a van. I got to use X. 1 vans are X plus 6 buses, and you got 372. That seems doable. Make sure you get parents to call you in or something. All right, this next one, 4 vans, and 12 buses with 780. I feel like that's easy. Is that easy? I think it's easy. Now it's a system of equations and you could solve it. Now, would I want to use a graph on this one? No. This would be gross because you have to solve for y on both of them and it'd be really hard. Always go to elimination next because we try to set up a lot of them so elimination works. And I look at it and I go, oh, this wouldn't be that bad. I'd have to times the top by what? Negative 4 would totally work. And by the way, you could have matched these two up and times the top by negative 2. That would have also worked. So if somebody was thinking, I wanted to do that, you could totally do that. But the first kid said negative 4, I'm going to do that. And then watch what happens. These two cancel. You now have one giant equation. That plus that equals, and again, a lot of calculator work to get all that done. But it's just timesing on a calculator. 372 times negative 4, and then you add 780. This is a positive, right? There's no negative there. So then you add 780, and then you get your answer. So let's take a second. I did this one in my head, and I got negative 12y. Can anybody verify that? You got the same thing as me?
Yeah.
Okay, good. And then this part I definitely need a calculator for. What is
7.
372 times 4? Hold on. 1488, but it's negative. What is negative 1488 plus 780? Negative 708. Did you get that?
Yep.
Awesome. Now I'm going to have to divide both sides by 12, and I bet it works. What is 708 divided by 12? 59. That actually, honestly, might be a number on the side of the bus. You know, bus holds 59. See, doesn't that kind of make sense? Actually, I think most buses are 55. Do you remember that, like on the side of the bus? I think I remember that printed on the side of a lot of those yellow school buses. Their max is 55. Anyway, that's our answer. But wait, isn't there supposed to be 2 parts? Yeah. If you wanted to finish it, let's not even bother, because I think you know what to do. You know to take this 59 and you stick it in one of the equations. I could stick it in either one. I could stick it here and then solve it for x, or I could stick it here. Either one, and I could solve for x. All right, I think you get the idea. Let's move on to the next one. This time, figure out what x is, figure out what y is, and see if you can set it up without me. Honestly, I think a lot of you guys will get your 5% on the test for this question. And just so we all get the same thing, the first thing they said was shirts. Make that X. I would just always take the first thing they give me and make it X. Ash, do you think you got this equation?
Yeah.
Start with a 2.
2x plus 5y equals 154.
You got it. Hold on a second. I'll get somebody else to do the other part. That's good. How about a volunteer? If you volunteer, I promise not to call on you for the rest of the hour. Hugh.
Is it 3x plus 4y equals 168?
Plus 4y equals 168. You are correct, sir. Nice job. Now, as I draw my line across to look at elimination, there's nothing that's going to work nice. I can't think of what I could multiply by to make this work nice. So this, we're not going to have anything this, actually, I don't want to say that. It's possible. On the test, they could make one this hard. So let me show you what to do. Do you get that if I times and get these both to be 20, then they could cancel each other out? So I would times the top one by 4, because see, 5 times 4 is 20. And then the bottom one by negative 5. Because see, 5 times 4 is 20, but I want it to be negative 20 down there. Would we have anything that hard? Maybe. It's not impossible. And these are the ones that are like worth 5% bonus, so maybe.
A question?
Yes, go ahead.
Does it matter what value you put in? Like if I chose like the times 2 and 3 by the opposites instead of like 5 and 4?
Yeah, you could have used you could have got rid of the x's instead of the y's. I chose to get rid of the y's. You could have multiplied the 3 and the 2 here by the top you'd multiply by 3, the bottom you'd multiply by negative 2. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, that totally would work. All right, we're not even going to solve this one. We're just going to move, because the hard part is setting up the system, not solving it. All right, let's try this next one. It's about muffins and blueberries and strawberries and per pound, and there's all these words. First, you got to figure out what is what. Personally, X is the first thing they tell me, and it seems like they're repeating blueberries and strawberries. That feels like the two key things is blueberries and strawberries. So I'm going to make the first one was blueberries. I'm going to see this is going to be BB. And Y is going to be straw B. Blueberries, strawberries. Now can you make the equations? Ruby Kirk, tell me what you think the first equation is. And I want to give you a hint. The 3 pounds of fruit to make muffins has to somewhere be included. Okay. Tell me the second equation. 4x plus 3y would add up to $21. Very good. To get the blueberries, go with the $4. So 4 went with this. And it said the strawberries were $3. So the $3 goes with this. 4x plus 3y is 21. Nice job. Now, the trickier one is the 3. Ooh, Mara's got it. Yup. Once you see that, do you get it's the blueberries and the strawberries together are going to be 3 pounds? Like, I feel like that makes sense now that I see it. 3 pounds of fruit. And that's blueberries and strawberries. Blueberries plus the strawberries is 3. See, that's not that bad. And now we're going to actually dig in and solve this one, and they want us to graph it. See? Graph it. So you got to solve them both for y. This one's really easy. You just subtract x from both sides, and you'll have y solved in a heartbeat. This one take a little longer, but you can solve it for y. All right, and I just realized something that's important. Stop for just a second. Stop. It said inequalities, which means it shouldn't just say equal. This should be like greater than or equal. But wait, let's wait to see. Another key word I missed was at least 3 pounds. It didn't say 3 pounds. It said at least 3 pounds. So they're fine if you want to make more than that, but you got to have at least 3. Do you get that changes it from just equal to 3 to it could be bigger than or equal to 3? See what I'm saying? And if you are fine with having more pie or whatever, then you have to be able to spend, oh wait, at most $21 on fruit. Ooh. Does that feel like at most? The most you can spend is 21. Do you get that means less than or equal to? The most you can spend is 21. So it has to be less than or equal to 21. Okay, that all of a sudden got way harder. But not that much harder. You just had to put in a sign. On the fruit, it said it could be at least. That means 3 or more, which means greater or equal to 3. So all we had to do was change a sign, and it's really not that bad. But it will definitely make it the hardest question on the test. Because now you got to put in the right sign there. Okay, now y is greater or equal to negative x plus 3. If you couldn't get there by yourself, that's fine, but now you can graph that. You start at 3. And you have a slope of negative 1, down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1. And remember what x was. It was the blueberries. And y was the straw. Berries. Now the hardest part, solving that for y and graphing that and shading that. I'm going to just copy my equation over so I have room to work. I'm going to subtract 4x from both sides. And I know, some of you, this is beyond you. You're like, I can't do this. Okay. But I got to finish this because some kids in here are going to handle this. My dream world is that everybody gets this right, but I'm also just being real that maybe this one is too hard for some. And now I solved it for y, and now 7 is where I start. Negative 4/3 means I get down 4 and over 3. Down 4 over 3. All right. That wasn't that bad. It's an or equal to sign. So that means it can be a solid line. Less than means shade under it. This one was a solid line also. And then shade over it. There. All of the points in that shaded region would be okay. And that's like, I'm gonna buy, let me just show you what they are. Like, if I pick this spot right here, that's in the shaded region. That's me buying 1 pound of blueberries, because that spot right there is 1,4. That's like me buying 1 pound of blueberries and 4 pounds of strawberries. It would work. It would be okay. I could afford it. It stays under my $21 because it stays under the red line. And it's enough fruit because it's at least 3 pounds of fruit. It's more than 3 pounds of fruit, right? So all of those dots that are in between there work. And this is actual, this could happen in the real world. You only have $21 to spend. Like, people don't have an unlimited budget for their, you know, fruit that they're gonna go buy, so they might have 21 bucks, that's all they got. So you keep it less than 21. And on the other side, you really wanna make enough to feed everybody, you gotta have at least 3 pounds of food. This is a good real world problem. And now you can figure out, well, maybe you really like blueberries. So you're gonna go take this dot over here, which is like a lot of blueberries and only a little strawberries. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That'd be 6,1. And apparently, see, since it's underneath that red line and inside the shaded area, it would be cheap enough you could afford it, and it would be at least as much fruit as you need. And so your pie or whatever you're making here, what are these? Oh, muffins. Your muffins would be mostly blueberry muffins. In fact, that is a little weird. Strawberry muffins, I've never actually heard of that, but anyway. Okay, that is the hardest thing on your test. How many of you feel like you have a shot? You feel like you maybe could do that? All right, that's like 3/4 good. All right.
I have a question.
Yes.
I did it a bit differently by doing like an XY graph. Like, could that work too or no?
No. You're gonna have to do, this is the only way I know of. If you wanna talk to me personally, like when we're done with the video and everything, come up and walk up front, I can look at yours. But I don't think I wanna show any other way to do this, cause you just wanna graph 2 lines, shade the right direction, and yeah, I don't wanna confuse people with other ways, because I don't think there is another way, but you can show me later. Maybe there is. All right. That's it, boys and girls. You learned everything you have to learn for today. And now, there's going to be some practice of this. So let's go find the homework. I'm going to pause while we do that.